Right now by an all-pro quarterback. He's going into his 8th season in the NFL. He was the NFL MVP last season, 2-time Pro Bowler, MVP of Super Bowl 45. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers joins me now. Aaron, great to have you on. How are you?
I'm doing good, buddy. Thanks for that intro.
Man, you earned it. That's a pretty good resume. You got to feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Maybe we add a couple more seconds on here in the next couple of years.
You got it. I'll do that for you. Hey, Aaron, you said yesterday you think that Green Bay is going to be a better team this year than it was last year. How so, and where do you think you improved?
Well, the whole gist of what I was saying was I don't know if we can be 15-1 again, but I think we're going to play better on all three phases. I think we're going to be better run the football on offense and give us more opportunities for explosive gains, 12-plus yard carries for us. I think we're going to be a little better in our blocking schemes. I think we're going to be better on defense as a whole. We added 6 draft picks, a couple free agents. I think we're going to be more sound on defense and special teams with the kind of guys that we picked up. I think we can add more guys running down on our cover teams to shore things up a little bit. But so it might not be 15-1, but I think we're going to be a more well-rounded football team.
You know, these are all tangible things that you can see. Was there anything intangible missing? For instance, after you win, you fight that. I mean, whether you like the term hangover or not, there's always a complacency seemingly when a team wins. Did you sense any of that last year?
Yeah, I did sense some of that. I think there was some guys who were a little comfortable, and when you win, it kind of brushes aside any issues that you might have. They become less important because you're winning. And so there's some areas where I think there was a little bit of lax as far as guys maybe not preparing as they did the year before, maybe not as hungry. So I do see some new intangible things that we've added through some of the players we brought in. There's a different atmosphere. I think it's evident right now the defensive line is a different unit. We added a number of personalities to that group. We added Anthony Hargrove, Daniel Muir, who was with the Colts and with us before that, back to the mix. We drafted Worthy and Daniels, who are both high-energy guys who add a lot to that room. So I think that group has really seen an energy level rise, which kind of makes the rest of practice amped up as well. So that's fun to see.
Yeah, I was just going to say, when you take guys and you add them, they've got energy and they've got attitude and they've got some swagger and they've got some grit. Can they take guys that don't necessarily have those things, and does it rub off on them?
I think so. I think that's a great point. I think a guy like B.J. Raji, who is a great player in his own right, but not a big rah-rah enthusiastic guy. I think we've seen him and his attitude pick up a little bit too, because it's contagious when you have Hargrove flying around and yapping, and Daniel Muir and Jarrell Worthy and Daniels and some of these guys who are really high energy, high motor guys. It's really kind of penetrated that whole room and touched each of those guys. So it's been fun to see. It adds some extra intensity to practice so far, which is what we need. I think every team is built through training camp, and you start to see some of the characteristics that you're going to see with your ball club, and it's fun to see a new energy in practice with the new guys we have. We have 90 guys in camp, 31 new guys, and I think a good amount of those guys are going to be with us on the 53.
Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, my guest. Aaron, just one more thought about last year. I thought you made a really good point that you may sense that there's something wrong. You may sense that guys didn't necessarily put in the time they had the year before, but what are you going to do and what are you going to say when you're winning every single week? At that point, did you say anything, or deep down were you concerned that even though our record says we are, we may not be as good as we were?
Well, you can definitely say things, and there were things said, but you wonder how much gets really taken in when you're winning every week and you're playing real well and you're putting up yards on offense and one of the top scoring teams in the history of the league. It's kind of maybe not all taken in by those guys when we're talking about a preparation level that's expected and we're still scoring 35 on Sundays. So I think it was great to be able to eat a little humble pie at the end of last year and realize that we can't get by on a reputation or what we did the previous year, or that we scored 35 points a game in the regular season or whatnot. It's none of that stuff matters when you get to the playoffs. You got to be playing the right way, and the Giants were, and they made the run, and we weren't. And now it's been fun to get to training camp and to have, again, people, fans, the league, the networks, radio, talking about other teams, and we're just kind of making our way and putting ourselves in a position to be successful.
Greg Jennings said the biggest question facing the team is the running game. Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't agree with that. I don't think that that's as big an issue as anybody's going to make it, because this league and our team especially is a pass-first team. So we got to be effective throwing the football. We got to find ways to throw it when teams are going to drop 7, drop 8, play some man with a spy, play 2-man, play whatever coverage they want to play. We're going to have to find ways to get open and complete passes. The run game needs to be a good change-up for us. I think we're going to implement some things that can get us more opportunities for those explosive runs that we call them, 12-plus yard runs, which can open up some of the play action stuff we want to do. But we're going to have to throw the football and be effective doing it.
Aaron, Drew Brees said, and I quote, "Nobody trusts Roger Goodell." Look, I understand where he might have some issues. I understand where the Saints might have some issues. But he didn't say we. He said nobody. Nobody trusts Roger Goodell. Where do you come out on that? Do you trust the commissioner?
I would have to probably see the context of what he was talking about. But, I think they have their issues with the commissioner. The one thing that I do think that he's doing a good job of is I really think that he's helped clean up some of the hits on defenseless players. And as a quarterback, you're often in a defenseless position. So I think that's been a good thing for our league. Whatever Drew was referring to in that context, I'm going to let him speak on that.
Let me ask you something. I mean, you've had such a great run. I look at Drew Brees. I look at you. I look at guys that are in control. The quarterback, it's often said it's the toughest thing in all of sports to be a quarterback in the NFL. And the reason for that, not only do you have to make so many decisions, complex decisions, when somebody's trying to knock you out, but you're supposed to be the guy who leads the franchise, the entire organization, both on and off the field. Do you approach it that way, or do you try not to carry that kind of a burden and just worry about your job?
No, I enjoy the burden, and I do approach it that way. I realize that I have a responsibility as the quarterback here, as a leader in the locker room, as the face of the franchise, that there's a way that I need to conduct myself in the locker room, in public, on TV, on the radio with you. There's an expectation that's been laid down by the tradition that we have here in Green Bay, way back with Curly Lambeau and Bart Starr, that I'm trying to uphold here in 2012 and be a good example for our organization. I realize how, what a privilege it is to play for the Green Bay Packers, the only pro sports team that doesn't have an owner, where the fans are directly related to, the ownership of the team, and many of them have a sheet of paper that says they're an owner with those stock certificates. So it's a special opportunity for me, and I take that role very seriously.
One last thing about playing quarterback and being that guy in that town. Usually around Super Bowl, I run into Jerry Kramer, who I've talked to quite a few times over the years. I was watching that Lombardi documentary recently, and to see that and to see what that team means in that town and to see the guys who played the game before you, what's it like when you run into the old Packers and they come together with you? Talk about that relationship.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's been a pleasure for me. Since I was a rookie, I've been able to be in situations where I've been around some of the all-time greats from here. And I remember meeting Bart Starr and Max McGee and Paul Hornung, Jerry Kramer and Fuzzy Thurston my rookie year, and I was just amazed. Being a football nut and a huge fan as a kid, knowing those names was just amazing to be able to be around them. Bart and I are still friends and keep in contact, and he's been a big support of mine. Willie Davis was with us on our Super Bowl run in the locker room in a couple of those big games, and that was a lot of fun. So those guys are around a lot. We love it. We enjoy it. They're family, and it's a special relationship that exists between the past, the former players, and the current guys, and we really enjoy that here.
I ran down the resume, looking to add a couple of more lines to it. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Aaron, really appreciate it. Great to have you on. Thank you very much.
You bet, buddy.
Good talking to you, Aaron. Great talking to you.